Level 42, something about you here on BBC Radio London. How are you doing? It's a Wednesday, happy hump day. My job is to keep you informed, of course, to entertain you on a day like this, just looking forward to the weekend. Also, it's December, and we spoke about this quite a lot on the show yesterday in terms of just feeling so tired in the month of December, quite overwhelmed at times. What are some of the tips and tricks that you can use to just kind of perk yourself up, pep yourself up? What have you got to look forward to? Of course, for lots of people, is the month of Christmas, New Year, resetting maybe. It's always nice to look forward to, but for some it can feel quite overwhelming. So my job, like I said, is to entertain you. I'm absolutely going to do that today. We're going to speak about a number of different things. It's the family hour, one of my favourite hours of the week, in particular because family landscape has changed significantly, hasn't it? Significantly over the last couple of years. So many people have had to do things without the level of support they maybe would have wanted to. For good reason, of course, you want to keep people safe. But the term pandemic baby is now something that people associate with those who had a pregnancy or a child in the last 18 months. A pandemic baby. What does that mean? What are the experiences of the mums, parents, grandparents, wider family that have welcomed a brand new baby or have been dealing with a pregnancy during this time? I'm about to speak to the wonderful Sarah Campus. She founded LDN Mums Fitness. She had a pandemic baby, and she did that. Also running a new business all at the same time during lockdown. And actually, she's pregnant again now, so it didn't put you off, Sarah. How are you doing?
Hi, I'm great, thank you. How are you?
Really good, thank you. Really, really good. And I want to speak to you about your experience as a pandemic pregnancy, and
Yes.
how for you did you feel that it was something that, well, I guess it was your first time being pregnant, so you didn't really have an idea of what to expect, did you? But were there some big challenges for you?
It was actually my second, so I'm actually currently pregnant with my third,
Third,
which is really
okay.
exciting.
Got you,
I
right.
know, being very busy. So yes, no, I mean, being my second, I have to say, I was quite relieved that it was my second in the way that I had been through the process of being pregnant before. But what I really tell all my clients, being a pre and postnatal exercise specialist, is the fact that every pregnancy journey is completely different. So you should never compare your journeys. Um, and so being during the pandemic, there was a lot of uncertainty, I have to say. And my son, he was actually born the second week during the first lockdown. So everything was incredibly new. Um, there was no mask wearing as such. So that for me was actually, I was quite happy about that. So that, there were no masks. We could obviously see everyone's faces. But it was uncertain in the fact of whether my husband could come in with me during the actual birth. Um, and also what I was going to do with my son, because we were in lockdown, as in my eldest son, where he was going to go. But actually, it all worked out. And for me, the advice I would really give everyone is just relax and take each step in each day as it comes and not panic. Because yes, it is quite a nerve-wracking time anyway. But like with all pregnancies, being relaxed as much as you can is the most important thing, for sure.
And that is it, isn't it? It is about feeling secure, as relaxed as possible, because as you know, like you say, this wasn't your first time having a child. You're aware of the things that would benefit you being pregnant. How did it affect your wider family, or for example, your partner?
So my husband, I think he was obviously, nervous as well. But he's got a really strong character, and so he kept it all within him, which is absolutely amazing. But obviously, we did communicate a lot. Communication is so important. So we did speak about the options of what we would have to do should something happen, or what we would do with our eldest. But no, he was incredibly supportive, and he just we basically went with the flow as much as you could, because you have a birth plan, and a birth plan is what you like to do, but that may or may not happen depending upon what happens with your body, which is absolutely fine. And so we did that as well as a couple. So we just went with the process, listened to our bodies, and listened to the professionals as well, which are the midwives, who are absolutely incredible in terms of reassuring us. So my husband could actually come to the actual birth, which was fantastic. He just couldn't come to all the triage just before. And what was actually quite nice is the hospital was so quiet. There was nobody there. So we just basically had a whole hospital building to ourselves, which was amazing. But no, we were with each other the whole time. And then he had to actually, he couldn't stay with me overnight once our son was born, which was obviously quite sad. But obviously, it was what it was. So we took how it came, and he came as soon as he could the following day. And then in terms of the wider family, my son actually went to my parents' house because they live around the corner, which was amazing.
It's very handy, isn't it? You had the support there from parents.
Exactly,
Yes.
really, really lucky about that. But then we had to just basically take our son, and we were advised by the midwives that no one was to really be close to or see our newborn child. And that was quite upsetting, I must say, because there's nothing like those first few days of a newborn, and you obviously won't get those times again. So yes, we cherished them as a family, which was amazing. And then we were very, very grateful of technology, of FaceTime and things like that, because we couldn't see anyone.
Yeah,
which is really sad.
But then it does become a challenge, doesn't it? Because as humans, you want to be able to connect. You want to be able to have the support. So even you yourself, Sarah, could get out there and start to return to normal. But when you have a pandemic, a lockdown, as we did, that becomes really challenging. How was it in terms of attachment to your newborn?
We are so close, like unbelievably close. He is certainly a mummy's boy.
How old is he now?
He's now 20 months.
20 months, right.
Yeah. So we are so, so close, which is absolutely amazing. And as a family, we're so close. And our eldest, who's now 3.5, he is also so fond of his brother. It melts our heart watching them interact together, because they've obviously had so much time together and in the home. Which is just amazing to see. And, the fact that my husband was working from home as well, as a whole family unit, we are just so much closer and so much stronger because we're with each other all the time. So it really, really helped, especially in those early stages in terms of bedtimes, things like that, to have, my husband there all the time, which was amazing. So, with every negative, there's always such a positive. And the positive here is that we are so close as a family unit, which is just amazing. And just, you'll always cherish those memories as well.
It sounds like for you then, Sarah, this was a really, really positive experience. I've spoken to a number of families and women who went through this and found it really, really challenging in terms of having a baby during the pandemic. And it seemed as though different hospitals had different policies when it came down to partners being allowed in with them during the birth. How different would things have been if your partner wasn't allowed with you in there?
It would have been quite different, because I did hypnobirthing for both. And the second time, having my husband there, he played such a part in hypnobirthing and in breathing and reassuring me. That's why that's why I think hypnobirthing is fantastic. It would have been, I have to say, it would have been quite lonely for sure, because it's that moment that you'd never get back. And I have heard of some people who actually had their birthing partners there, but through FaceTime.
Wow.
So, so technology, is incredible in that case. But I think at the end of the day, if he wasn't able to come in, then I think I would have just, trusted my body, really just focused, zoned in to the hypnobirthing even more, and just been with my midwife a lot more as well. I think just trusted them, because they have just got the most incredible job, and I don't think they're praised enough as professionals. So they're always amazing. So I certainly would have felt safe, because they are amazing, and you just got to trust the professionals around you.
You do have to trust the professionals around you to let you know how different and challenging the time is and how
Totally.
qualified they are to be able to help you, but then also after as well. And we were in the, like you say, you had your second child, second week of lockdown. So I'm assuming the baby's April time, around back end of March, April.
Yes,
Yes.
31st of March, yeah.
So for you then, understanding that everything was starting to shut down and less things were open, how was it then going back out and starting your exercise again? Because that's what you do, don't you? You are, super qualified when it comes down to personal training and nutrition. But in and around that, everything was closed. Gyms were closed and you only had a limited amount of time to go out and try anything.
I know, absolutely. Well, I'm actually a huge advocate of exercising from home. So, gyms are great, but it wasn't actually necessary for the angle of exercise that I work in, and actually encourage women to exercise with confidence from home, and that you don't need to go to gyms, you don't need a lot of equipment. So actually, it was really good in the fact that I trained a lot of my clients online, which was amazing. And then when we could eventually go out and meet one-on-one, I met with quite a few of my clients in the park, just one-on-one, which was, just amazing to have that contact and that interaction again with a human being as opposed to online. But I have to say, I think online is absolutely incredible because you do get the same benefits and results online as in person. I think some people are still quite reserved over personal training online, but it's absolutely amazing because you don't actually do too much hands-on per se. A lot of it is verbal. But it was fantastic, being able to go back out, especially, with my sons, to show, especially my new one, to show him the world as well, which was just amazing. I mean, yes, then he obviously couldn't see people's faces and their smiles, but what's incredible is how much they respond to people's eyes,
Yeah.
and how they talk is amazing.
And that for you was probably so magical just to have that bit of interaction as well. And the mums that you do train with LDN Mums Fitness, how many of them have taken time to adjust to this lockdown lifestyle or the pandemic lifestyle once they had the baby?
It's certainly taken time because it's something different, it's something new. No one has been in this situation before, so we're all in the same boat of dealing with the uncertainty. And I think the fact that I was in that boat as well, I could relate to a lot of these mums, which I think they quite like. So we're all in this together, and that's why I think communication is such an important thing, and knowing that you've got other people to talk to, other people to lean on, having that that community is really important. So I could certainly talk to my clients about it, and I could relate to them, which I think is so important. You have a lot of personal trainers that may not be pre or postnatal qualified, and so when you have a mum that will come and say they've got a certain type of pain or feeling a certain way, they may not be able to relate, but I can totally relate to their feelings of anxiety, uncertainty, and just to give them that confidence that they can do it and that they can exercise with their babies from home, and that I'm there to answer any questions that they've got.
It's so reassuring, isn't it? And where can people find you, Sarah, with LDN Mums Fitness?
Sure. So we're on Instagram, which is London Mums Fitness, so LDN Mums Fitness, and we've also got our website, londonmumsfitness.com. That's ldnmumsfitness.com, and we've got our YouTube channel as well, and LinkedIn.
Brilliant
So
stuff.
London Mums Fitness.
And
yeah.
you are expecting a tiny bundle very soon. How far away are you?
I am. We are currently 14 weeks, so due
Nice.
June next year, which is so exciting.
Isn't that
So
great? A summer
hopefully it
baby.
won't be a pandemic baby.
Well, I wish you the
But
best of luck with
thank you
that,
so
Sarah. You're
much.
my hero. Anyone who has more than one child, hero to me. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Jeanette.
Brilliant
Thank
stuff.
you.
Thank you. That's Sarah Campus there. She's the founder of London Mums Fitness. LDN Mums Fitness. You can find them, like she said, on Instagram. Have a look at some of the amazing work they're doing. They specialise in pregnancy and postpartum diet and fitness and wellness, especially if you're trying to navigate this really bizarre time of having a child in the middle of a pandemic. It's all very strange, very different, but of course it can be done. And we'll be speaking to our next guest very soon. She's made light of it. Great illustrations in and around what it's like to have a baby during the pandemic. I'll take you up to the travel in a bit, but here's a bit of a Christmas song for you.